Hi and welcome along to Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. The transfer window shuts on the 1st of September, right? So time is starting to get nearer and nearer and nearer to that deadline. And listen, Arsenal, fantastic result against Manchester City. Everybody really on a high after that performance. Brilliant, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know what I mean? Every pundit out there, even rival fans, I've done a couple of videos over the last couple of days, every single one of them making Arsenal the favourites, everyone eulogising about that performance. However, we still need to make some signings. I hope we don't get distracted with this and, we don't get carried away. You know, like sometimes you lose one of these games, everyone's in panic, you've got to get this person, that person. We know we don't need a lot, but Arsenal still need a centre-back, still need a right-back or a centre-back who can play both positions, still need a left winger or a forward. Wasn't in PSG's squad at the weekend for their Super Cup defeat against Lens. Now, we're being told that Liverpool are the absolute favourites to sign him, but could Arsenal be plotting a hijack for BARCOLA? There was lots of rumours flying around last night that he prefers to move to Arsenal. We've heard this before, that he would rather live in London and all this sort of stuff. But at the moment, Liverpool are in pole position, but L'Equipe, the publication over there in France, are claiming that another English club could make a move to sign BARCOLA. And that club, we all seem to know, looks like it's Arsenal. PSG also said to be willing to drop their price a bit. Now, they've been asking for this crazy £140 million fee. They're not going to get that. We're also hearing reports that they'd accept something closer to the £100 million mark, you know, probably like 105, 110 maybe. Would that be tempting to Arsenal? We've heard previously that Arsenal don't want to go as high as 100 million for Bradley BARCOLA. Listen, in the current market, that looks like what it's going to take. I mean, let's be really fair. You know, Morgan Rogers went for 170 million. Bradley BARCOLA is on the same level. We've got to admit that, you know what I mean? He's scored at the World Cup. He's a regular in the France team. He's won 2 Champions Leagues. He's in that sort of bracket. So they're going to want that type of money. But are Arsenal the club that are going to put this hijack in? Are they plotting this hijack on Bradley BARCOLA? Again, we need a left winger. We haven't got it yet, so one to watch this one. It's going to be very interesting, although Liverpool's still the favourites. Now, what about these two? Yildiz, Yildiz Alvarez. 2 players that we know Arsenal are very, very interested in signing. Gunner Blog, very, very good journalist, really close to the Arsenal. He said that Arsenal's still holding an interest in both Yildiz and Yildiz Alvarez. But it's going to take, certain things to happen for them to be able to get this deal done. Both deals very, very complicated. Of course, Arsenal would like to sign one of them, but it's complicated, as we know. Yildiz only just signed a new deal for Juventus in June. I've said it before, he's their main star boy. They do not want to sell Yildiz, right? Although that has been, Arteta's dream for quite a long time, is to get Yildiz in the team. It'd be perfect out on that left wing. And Alvarez, as we know, is still pushing for a move to Barcelona. Now, Atletico are doubling down even harder now, saying you are not going to Barcelona. If we do say you at all, you're going abroad. You are not going to Barcelona. So both of these are very, very complicated. The Yildiz one, I don't know, man. He's saying that they'd be looking at circumstances that could develop. Could Juventus at the last minute be willing to sell him for a high price? The Alvarez one, he wants Barcelona, but if he decides that I no longer want to play for Atletico Madrid, I can't get Barcelona, then it opens up for Arsenal. But it's going to take a lot of circumstances for these ones to happen before the end of the transfer window. Very, very complicated indeed. Now, on yesterday's show, I spoke about Victor Gyökeres and how he was being linked by many sources with a move to Barcelona, including this journalist from a publication called El Quintro or something like that. Anyway, he said that Gyökeres
already 10 days ago, and Paris Saint-Germain said this number is far away from what we want, so still distance. But I fully expect in the next days, not today, Liverpool to bid again for Bradley Barcola, to present an official proposal and to continue this direct conversation, Liverpool-PSG, PSG-Liverpool. Don't forget that Barcola was not in the squad last night for Paris Saint-Germain against Lens. Don't forget that Luis Enrique said, I will talk about Barcola at the end of the window. Don't forget that Barcola didn't feature in the UEFA Super Cup and also in the French Super Cup. Nasser Al-Khelaifi was keeping all the doors open, so there is still an expectation for Bradley Barcola to have huge chances to go to Liverpool. Remember that Barcola has an agreement with Liverpool on personal terms, and that Barcola is very attracted by the Liverpool project. So we wait for these steps to follow. Then, guys, it's been a day where you asked me so many questions on another situation.
Shall we? Who are regular viewers of the channel will know I'm a big fan of Barcola. I've always been pretty keen on the idea of him coming to Arsenal. Certainly when it kind of looked like a bit of a straight fight between Barcola or Morgan Rogers, I was always sort of leaning towards the Bradley Barcola side of things on that one, just because I could kind of see the fit at Arsenal more than I could with Morgan Rogers, which always kind of confused me a little bit. But it's all gone pretty quiet on Barcola for a fair while. It's always looked like if he was going to leave PSG, it would end up being Liverpool. We've long had reports, suggestions that personal terms already agreed between Barcola and Liverpool. It's just a case of the two clubs trying to agree a fee, which at the moment has not even been close to happening because of PSG's sky-high valuation of Barcola. They're looking at sort of about 150 odd million. You're seeing prices banded around as what they would want to part ways with. The France international has 2 years left on his contract, and those contract talks have now officially ended and broken down. Now, we've seen reports in the last sort of 24 hours or so since the last show that I did, coming from France, that PSG, this was reported in L'Equipe, that PSG are now expecting Arsenal to re-enter the race for Barcola. There's also been suggestions from various accounts that he would prefer a move to London than Liverpool.
Now, here's the one that might surprise you, because Barcelona are reportedly exploring a move for Victor Gyökeres, Arsenal's own record signing from last summer. According to El Chiringuito, Barcelona's priority target, Yildiz Alvarez, remains firmly blocked by Atletico Madrid's enormous €500 million release clause. And with Hansi Flick still pushing for a new centre-forward, Gyökeres has emerged as an alternative option under consideration. It's worth being clear about where this stands. This is being described as Barcelona exploring the possibility rather than any concrete approach, and there's been no indication whatsoever that Arsenal would even consider selling a player they paid up to €73 million for just months ago. But it's a name worth watching, especially given Gyökeres endured a difficult start to life in England after his prolific 2 seasons at Sporting, and reports of